Good morning and welcome to today's New York City Council vote for the Committee on Governmental Operations, State and Federal Legislation. At this time, we ask that you silence all electronic devices, and at no time is anyone to approach the dais. Chair Ressler, we may begin.
Good morning. My name is Lincoln Ressler, and I am the chair of the Committee on Governmental Operations, State and Federal Legislation. I'd like to first begin by thanking my colleagues who have joined us today, especially Jim Gennaro of Queens, Lynn Schulman of Queens, Vicky Palladino of Queens, Gail Brewer of Manhattan, Ina Vernikov of Brooklyn, and David Carr of Brooklyn. Today we'll be voting on Intro 1111A, sponsored by Councilmember Lynn Schulman. This bill will change the frequency with which the Campaign Finance Board recalculates contribution and expenditure limits based changes in the Consumer Price Index. The board will be required to recalculate limits once every local general election cycle instead of every 4 years to account for 2-year council terms that occur every 20 years due to redistricting. I really want to thank Councilmember Schulman for this innovative legislation and for having a very clear vision for what needed to be changed and for making that happen. With that, I'd like to turn it over to her for remarks.
Thank you, Chair. When the City Council first passed the Campaign Finance Act, the provision that capped expenditures for council and citywide offices called for the cap to be increased every 4 years based on the Consumer Price Index. The 4-year figure came from the fact that citywide and council offices have 4-year terms as a general rule. However, the law did not account for an anomaly that occurs every 20 years, in which members of the council serve two-year terms because of redistricting of council lines as a result of the U.S. Census. To rectify this issue and bring equity to council elections that occur within this rare circumstance, Intro 1111 changes the frequency with which the Campaign Finance Board recalculates contribution and expenditure limits to account for changes in the Consumer Price Index from once every 4 years to once every local general election. I want to thank Speaker Adams and Chair Ressler for their support of this bill to bring equity to City Council elections. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Schulman. I'd like to thank committee staff, Jace Reganapathy and Erica Cohen for their work on this. I'd also like to thank David Seitzer for his work on this as well, and of course the team from the CFB for their partnership and collaboration. With that, I'll now ask the clerk to call the roll.
Good afternoon. William Martin, Committee Clerk, roll call vote, Committee on Governmental Operations, State and Federal Legislation. Proposed introduction 1111-A. Chair Ressler.
Aye.
Gennaro.
Aye.
Brewer.
Aye.
Gutierrez. Hanif. Schulman.
Aye.
Carr.
Nay.
Vernikov.
No.
Palladino.
I'd like permission to explain my vote, please.
Of course, permission granted.
Thank you, Chair. While I plan to vote no on the floor for the full council vote on Intro 111A, I will be voting yes here in committee because I believe that all bills that we see as council members should be introduced out of committee and onto the floor for a full council vote. So I will vote yay here, but I will turn it over to the floor, and whereas I will be voting nay.
I would just like to state on the record, thank you, Councilmember Palladino. It's exceptionally gracious of you, and we very much appreciate your cooperation and help in moving this bill to the floor.
Thank you, Chair. Like I said, I just want full council vote on everything. Thank you.
Thank you. With a vote of 5 in the affirmative, 2 in the negative, and no abstentions, item has been adopted by the committee.
And with that, we are adjourned.